morning, everyone. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Just like usual, we're going to straighten up through our spine, really lengthen, stacking those vertebrae. Okay, we're going to roll the shoulders back and down, and now we're going to chin tuck back for 10. Here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Let's reset. Okay. Pull that length up. Roll the shoulders back. Head turns. 10. 5 per side total. Ready and begin. 1. Back to center. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8, 9, and 10. Okay, now that we got those out of the way, we're going to get into our warm-up. Our format today is going to be, I know there was a request for some mobility moves, so I did not forget. I apologize, I couldn't make it last week, but I did not forget, and I'm still doing some knees, some core, and we're going to add some mobility in too. So our format for our warm-up is going to be 60 seconds and then 10 seconds in between, and it's going to be 30 seconds one exercise, 30 seconds another, no break, and then a 10-second break before we go into the next set. It's about 6 minutes long, and we will be finishing with the same style format, so it'll give in our warm-up, it'll give you some time to get used to it. The first one we're going to do is our 4-count cherry pickers, okay, for 30 seconds with an option to arm reach if you can, okay? If coming up overhead is too much, you can always press forward too instead, okay? We're going to do that, and then we're going to go right into an alternating side bend, okay? So I'm going to guide you through. You can do both these seated too, okay? And then side bend, okay? So you pick your level, all right? Starting with those 4-count cherry pickers, let's get ready and begin. Here we go. So reaching out, nice wide stance, wider than shoulder width, up. We have 15 more seconds here. Then we're going to go into side bends. Go through your own range of motion. Remember, we're just warming up here. 2 and 1, side bends, okay? The next 2 we're going to do is leg swings, okay? So make sure you have your chair available because we're going to want to hold on that or a wall. You're going to want to hold on to the side of the wall or chair with one hand. Okay, remember, we're going to have 10 seconds recovery coming up here in 3, 2, and 1, okay? So either a chair or the side of the wall. We're going to take the inside leg and we're just going to swing it. Mobility, okay? Hip mobility right here. Here we go, okay? So you guessed it, the other 30 seconds of this minute is going to be the other side, okay? So you can just turn around if you're using a chair or a wall. You can just turn it around. Since I'm on camera talking to you guys, I'm going to flip my chair so that my back's not facing you, but you guys don't have to worry about that because, you know, nobody's, you know, watching what you're doing there. So 2, 1, okay, turn around and get that other side, okay? So we're going to have 10 seconds after this exercise, and we're going to go into our hip circles, okay? Hip circles are next, so we're still working on hip mobility between this exercise and then our hip circles coming up, okay? 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, so you can either step away from your chair or wall. Standing, we're going to be wide, okay, like this, all 30 seconds one direction. Or if you're seated, it's just the upper body that's moving, okay? Here we go. So if you're seated, just have your bottom in the seat and rotate through that torso, okay? We have 10 more seconds this direction, and then we're gonna switch it. 3, 2, and 1, other side. We're gonna get into warming up our body temperature and core next. And I'll explain that to you. We're gonna do a knee raise all on one side with an arm pull down. I'll demo in our 10-second transition. 3, 2, and 1. Good. So our next one, all on one side. Look, reset, 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 reset. You can hold on, okay? Here we go. You can also do this if you need a little bit of extra stability, or you can do it seated, okay? All on that same leg, okay? All right, so you pick which one's best, okay? Get a little bit of a calf stretch here too, activating the core, shoulder mobility, getting that hip into full extension by coming back, other side. And you can hold on to the wall or a chair if you need to. Your balance is kind of giving on you here. Starting to get that heart rate up, body temperature up. 5 more seconds. 3, 2, 1. Excellent. Okay, we have wide leg, okay, seated or standing, okay? Standing, reach, reach, okay? You're gonna bend that leg on the side that you're reaching toward, opposite hand, and you're gonna feel a nice stretch through your groin, still working on that hip mobility. Okay, if you're seated, okay, just go as far as you can without straining yourself. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, this one here is a good morning, all right? So hands behind head or across chest, okay? We're just doing our hinge, squeezing and using the glutes. Keep that core really engaged, braced, okay? Really only trying to move through the hips, thinking of like a suitcase or a clamshell, okay? And time. All right, guys, that was our 6-minute warm-up, and that's the format we're gonna finish with today. So using that in our warm-up kind of gives you an idea of how our work's gonna finish too, okay? That's the time format. So the next 2 blocks are gonna be standard 12-minute, 45, 15s, 4 exercises, okay? All right, our first one, shoulder mobility moves we're gonna start with, okay? If you're standing, I always want you to think of that pelvic tuck, right? Okay, scooping and tucking, scooping here, tucking under here, braced, right? You're braced, okay? We're gonna do our goalpost fly with our internal and external rotation, okay? Think shoulder health and shoulder mobility, okay? That's our first exercise. Our second one, and you can use no weight or like water bottles or a 1-pound weight with that one, okay? I'm gonna use no weight. Our second one is our half bicep curl with internal and external rotation here, okay? All right, so these are both for shoulder mobility here, all right? And then we have our hinge and row, right? Nothing new here, okay? Hinge and row. And then an alternating lunge, okay? Or a seated leg press, all right? So we've got 3 rounds, okay? We're gonna start with that goalpost fly with the internal and external, okay? 45 seconds is going on the clock. You can do this seated or standing. I'm gonna do it seated for round 1 here. All right, and in 3, 2, and 1. Here we go. For me, I'm just using body weight, but you can use a light pair of dumbbells, about 1 pound, some water bottles, okay? All right, the idea is we're thinking of pulling those shoulder blades together as our elbows come out like this, right? Squeezing those shoulder blades, okay? And then from here, we're just going through our own personal range of motion. You know, you might not have, your hands might not come up here all the way. They might be like this, and that's okay, all right? Like if they come up to here, work in your range, okay? This is mobility, okay? So we're working on those joints right now. And remember, if you want to build muscle, you've got to do it on a proper foundation. So these are important exercises. Okay, we're going to get ready to that half bicep curl to internal and external rotation this way, okay? So I have my 2 pound weights here that I'm using, all right? Here we go, we're coming up halfway, external, internal, down, okay? So like a 90-degree bend, okay? You can go heavier than 2 pounds here if you can handle it. It's just, you know, these are the weights that I have. I'd be okay to do 3 to 5 pounds on here though, depending on your ability, of course. And this can also be done without weights, okay? Going through your range, trying to keep those elbows close to the rib cage, okay? I like to call these prehab exercises, right? Like, you know, taking care of our shoulder health before it becomes an issue, if it's not an issue already, okay? And time. Okay, so now we're gonna go into our hinge and row, okay? So your feet are underneath your hips, toes are forward. We're gonna hinge, row it, use the glutes to stand it up, okay? All right, here we go. 3, 2, and 1. Hinge, row, up. Remember, we're keeping our core braced. All right, we're using our glutes to lift our upper body back up. As our elbows pull back, we're engaging our lats, okay? Strong back muscles that are right underneath the shoulder girdle, right? Five more seconds here. 2, and 1. Okay, excellent. And we've got lunges now. Okay, so you can use the back of your chair, the side of your chair, put your hands on your hips, however you feel comfortable. Or if you want to be seated with me, we're going to do an alternating leg press. Okay, here we go. So if you're with me, I'm kind of scooped and rounded, like I'm trying to make a C out of my abdomen here, right? That's going to keep my core nice and engaged. As I imagine I'm pushing away a really heavy object with the heel of my foot, okay? We're going back to the top after this. I will be moving to our standing exercises, but if you're seated and you want to stay seated, please do so, okay? Or if you're standing but you want to change to seated, you can do that as well, okay? Tailor this to you, okay? Round 1, there it is. Okay, back to the top. We're going to do that goal post fly with internal and external rotation. All right, if you're standing, scoop and tuck, right? Scoop and tuck. All right, here we go. Pull back, internal, external, together. So on the horizontal pattern, here is our internal and external, and on the vertical, internal and external, okay? So we're training these shoulders through their range of motion in these directions. All right, keep that core tight. That's going to give you that strong base. Glutes engaged. So in our warm-up, there was a focus on hip mobility. In our first block, there's a focus on shoulder mobility, okay? Second exercise, half bicep curl to know, this is called a no money drill because it's like, I don't have any money, right? I don't have, that's why they call it that, okay? All right, here we go. So curl up, no money. Curl up, no money. All right, so keep those elbows close to the rib cage. If you're standing, you're still squeezing those glutes. That's really gonna help you brace your core. In external, internal rotation. Here we go. External, internal, okay? These are smaller supporting muscle groups in the complex shoulder joint, okay? Five more seconds here. We're moving on to hinge and row. 2 and 1. Excellent. Okay. Hinge and row, seated or standing. If you're standing, your feet are right under your hips, toes are forward, okay? Core is engaged. Weights on the outside of the thighs. Here we go. We're gonna hinge down, row it, squeeze the glutes up, okay? Hinge down. Keep that belly button pulled back towards the spine as you're lowering and rowing, okay? Think of hamstrings and glutes doing the work to lift you back up. This is an exercise where if you can handle it, you can be a little bit heavier, okay? You're using larger muscle groups. If you're not ready to go to a heavier weight, just work on your movement pattern, okay? And your mind-muscle connection. 3, 2, and 1, okay? Alternating lunges, okay? Or a seated leg press. I'm gonna demo with my hands on the back of the chair here, okay? You might be right here though. You might only need one hand or no hand, okay? And again, working through your own range of motion, okay? And think of it, 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? As you get good at this pattern, you may notice that you're able to go quicker, which is fine, right? But make sure you really feel like you're doing it properly before you start speeding that up, okay? That front heel should always maintain contact with the floor because you want to drop, you want to push really hard through it as you're lifting up. 3, 2, and 1. One more time through, okay? Final set of our goalpost internal, external rotations. I think I'll try my 2-pound weights this round for that one. Tuck and curl, okay? Here we go. Open, down, up, together. Really keeping my glutes squeezed. If you're standing, keep them squeezed. That'll help keep that C curve in your abs, keeping your core braced. Good, 15 more seconds here. It's amazing what a little bit of extra weight, 2 extra pounds, and I'm feeling a big difference in this. 2 and 1. Whew, okay. Bicep curl to internal and external rotation. Get your drinks whenever you need them, okay? Here we go. In 3, 2, and 1, I'm gonna curl halfway up, 90-degree bend, out, in, and down. Out, in, and down. Good. And just, again, you're going through your range with those elbows tucked. So if you feel something like this happening because you're trying to go out further, but your elbows start to gap, just pull it in and say, maybe you only go to here. That's okay. That's where I want you to go then, okay? Just work within your range because the more often you do it, the more mobility will come with it over time, okay? 10 more seconds here. 2 and 1. Good. Hinge and row, okay? So we just worked this whole shoulder girdle. Now we're gonna work right underneath with the lat with our row. okay, that supports that shoulder girdle, okay? And we also get that 2-for-1 here. We're getting the lower body as well. Here we go. Hinge, row. Use the glutes and hamstrings to pull up. Core is engaged, all right? You're trying to keep that belly button pulled back towards the spine as much as possible. Again, now we're on to larger muscle groups. So a heavier weight, if you have it and feel comfortable with it, is appropriate to use. Five more seconds. 2 and 1. Okay. Weights aside, we're going back to those lunges, okay? You can go advanced, you can go body weight, hands on hips, all right? Somewhere in between, hands on back of chair or side of chair. I'll do side this time, okay? 1, 2, 3, together. 2. Okay. If you feel that heel on the front foot, on the front leg, popping off the floor, I want you to slow it down and try to find a stance that allows you to keep it on the floor the whole time, okay? And your range, maybe you're right here. That's okay. Focus on just pushing up through that heel to feel that glute turn on as you're doing it, okay? Going lower comes the more you build up that muscle, okay? 2 and 1. Okay, guys. That was our first 12-minute block, okay? On to the next. Get a drink. Oops. Our first one. Sit squats, okay? Sit squats with a dumbbell press, okay? So you're gonna take one dumbbell, okay? Or maybe you just wanna use your hands or a water bottle, something light, okay? We're gonna sit it down, drive it up, a 45-degree press, okay? So when I say 45, it's like, you see how I'm not overhead and I'm not straight out. I'm somewhere right in between, okay? I'm somewhere right in between that, okay? So use a weight, that weight I was just demoing with is too heavy. I'm going to pull back on that weight a little bit, okay? So find a weight that, allows you to do that without it feeling too cumbersome, okay? Then we're gonna do our hinge and gorilla row. So we did our hinge and row in the first round. Now we're doing the wide leg one, okay? So we're gonna be wide, okay? All right, wider than shoulder width, right? And I'm still pushing my hips back like that hinge. I just have a wide stance. And now because I'm so wide, my dumbbells have to be in between my legs, right? I'm gonna row, use the glutes to pull up, okay? Back down. Core is engaged the whole time. Pull it up with the glutes, okay? All right, that's 2. Then we're gonna go into our core full bicep curl and march, okay? So we're getting that core work there and that full range bicep curl. And then we're gonna do standard tricep kickbacks today. All right, all right, so if you start to feel discomfort, if it feels like your lower back's starting to bother you being a little bit bent forward, you can either go to your seat if you're not already using your seat, or you can stand up a little straighter here, okay? And just focus on this, all right? Okay, here we go. Round 1, sit squat to 45-degree press. I am going to do a seated variation, so I'm gonna do 2 leg extensions to a press for round 1, okay? Otherwise, your heels are shoulder width apart, okay? You're gonna sit it down, drive it up, and then 45 press. Let's get ready and begin. Okay, here's my seated variation. Flex foot leg extension press, okay? For the seated variation, we're working on quad strength, okay? And that's gonna help with our knees, okay? Sit squats can help with our knees too, but if you have pain in your knees while doing this, I would suggest trying the seated variation. And time. Okay, so next we are going to our gorilla row with that hinge. So again, our heels are outside the width of our shoulders, okay? All right, and we're gonna hinge down, just like our hinge and row, okay? Just wide, row, row. Really think about turning those glutes on when you come back up, okay? Think of the glutes working to pull you up. Trying to have a neutral spine here. Good, 10 more seconds here. 5, 2, and 1. Excellent. Moving right along, we're going to our bicep curl and march. So we're going to do a full range bicep curl, hover on one leg, okay, to the best of your ability. And I'm going to be doing it seated here. Here we go. So we've got balance and core activation, stabilization, and you know, the seated variation, I feel my abs working here, so don't feel like, you know, you're not getting any value if you're seated right now and you're like, oh God, I wish I was standing. Like, work where you're at and use your breath. Exhale. As I exhale, I'm trying to pull my belly button back towards my spine, okay? Really working those deep core muscles. Slow and controlled. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, last one in round 1 is our tricep kickbacks, okay? So you can have a slight bend, whether you're seated or standing. If that becomes too much, go ahead and, you know, straighten up and do it, okay? All right, here we go. My elbows are staying close to the body, all right? And when my arms are extended long, that's when I'm really telling the back of my arm to engage, all right? Working that muscle in the top half of the arm, underside. Good, 10 more seconds. 2, and 1. Okay, nice work. That's round 1. I am going to move to standing now, but you can stay seated or move to seated if you prefer it. Sit squat to 45-degree press, okay? Here we go. My heels are about shoulder width apart. I'm going to drop it down, drive it up, press. Move at find your rhythm, okay? Find your pace and your tempo that works for you. I'm really actively in the lower part of my body as I lift up here. I'm trying to make my muscles as tense, like I'm trying to tighten them up, okay? Through my glutes and my quadriceps. And by pushing my heels down into the ground, that helps that. Core is engaged. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, we're going to our hinge and gorilla row. Okay, so we're going into that nice and wide stance, wider than shoulder width apart, just outside, okay? Weights are on the inside. I'm gonna push those hips back, row, row. Keep the core engaged as we squeeze our glutes up. Belly button to spine. Feel that nice stretch through the back of the legs as we're rowing, working those back muscles, and then squeezing those leg muscles up in the back of the legs. Woo, almost there. 3, 2, and time. Good. Okay, next we have our tricep kickbacks, okay? Whew. Get your drinks whenever you need it, okay? Here we go. Slight bend if it doesn't bother your back, okay? Bend in the knees, ankles, knees, and hips have a slight bend. I'm pulling that belly button back to my spine. And I'm talking to my triceps. When my arms are lengthened right here, I'm like, right here, I'm saying squeeze every rep. If you find discomfort in your lower back and you need to come up here, you can still do that, okay? Tailor it to what you need it to be. 2, and 1. Okay. Back to the top. All right. Oh wait, I missed our bicep curl and march. Yeah. I'm like, why does that feel so short? That's okay. We'll flip them up. Here we go. Bicep curl and march. 2. And if you already did that because you're like, Elaine, you messed up, now you can do your triceps. Okay. I like to think of like deflating my stomach with that exhale. Like I want to try to feel that stomach go back towards my spine. Two, and 1. Okay, top around 3. All right, so now we're going into our final set of our sit, squat, and press, or our alternating leg extension and press, okay? Heels are shoulder width apart, slight flare out of the toes, okay? Because we want those knees, we don't want them to cave in, right? We want them to stay out in the direction of our toes. Sit it down. Press through the heels, drive it up, press, boom. Find your rhythm, okay? You don't have to do my pace. You can do, the pace that feels appropriate to you. That could be quicker or slower. I am making a conscious effort to make that mind muscle connection as I drive up. All right, squeezing the glutes, squeezing the quads and the core. Now press, boom. All right, we're getting upper chest and shoulders with this 45-degree press. And time, good. Okay, final set of our hinge and gorilla row, okay? Nice and wide, wider than that sit squat we just did, okay? We're coming completely outside the shoulders. Toes are a little more faced forward now though, okay? And here we go. Hinge it down, core engaged as we row and row. Squeeze the glutes up, okay? Bicep curl and march is next. Woo, 5 more seconds. 2, and time, okay. Bicep curl and march. Getting more single leg work in, our balance work, our core work, okay? Let's get ready and begin. Remember, this is a great core exercise if you're seated as well. Oh. Spam call, sorry guys. There we go. I don't know. On my side, it looks like I black out of the screen, so I don't know if it does that for you guys. 5 more seconds. 2 and 1. Okay. Final exercise. We got those tricep kickbacks. Okay, so you can either see that ankle, knee, hip, pop, right? Got ankle, knee, hip all a little bent. Okay, my core is really engaged here. I'm like pulling it back towards my spine as much as I can. Okay, working on those triceps. If you start to feel discomfort through the lower back, just straighten it up. Okay. This is an isolation exercise, which means the only muscle group we're working right now really is the triceps, okay? Focusing in. Five more seconds. 2 and 1. Okay, nice work. That is our second 12-minute block. All right, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna do 3 rounds of 6 exercises the same way we warmed up. So 30 seconds, 10 seconds, okay? 30 seconds are the 2 exercises, and then a 10 seconds recovery, okay? Our 6 exercises we're gonna roll through for 3 times are a wide leg lunge here, lateral lunge, okay? So this is still working on mobility and single leg, and I wanna show you a couple options. Your most advanced one is going to be wide leg. You're gonna be able to just do it from your body, okay? And I wanna show you from the front direction, and I wanna show you from the side direction too, okay? So the one leg is bent as the other leg is straight, okay? See how it's straight on the one side? Okay, and I'm still driving up through the heels, okay? You can also do this with your chair. This would be your middle of the road, okay? Hinge down, drive up. Okay, so it's just one leg at a time. Okay, so this is your middle. All right, let me show you. The chair is going to be in front, but you'll still see the legs on either side. I just want you to see. So here I am. See, straight leg, bent knee, drive up, squeeze the glute. Bent knee, drive up, squeeze the glute, okay? So what happens essentially, here's my make-believe chair, is I get a lengthening and a stretch through this leg, and I get a contraction on this leg, okay? Contraction on the bent leg, stretch on the straight leg, okay? And then if we're seated, we're going to be doing lateral leg, okay? Lateral and leg, all right? That, and then we're gonna pair that with our hand curl palm up. You can put a light pair of 1 pound dumbbells in your hands, 2 pounds if you want, or just keep it body weight, okay? Seated, that'll basically look the same. The next 2 is a squat to leg raise. I'm gonna show you the most advanced first, okay? Because just for vision, so you can see the whole thing without anything in its way. Squat, leg raise. Squat, leg raise, all same leg, okay? All same leg for 30 seconds, okay? I'm leading with the heel of my foot. Okay, that's our hardest option. If you need to, use the side of the chair to hold on to. Squat, leg raise. Squat, leg raise, okay? That would be your in-between, all right? And then if we're seated, we're just gonna do, because we're gonna do an alternating leg press, because otherwise we'd just be doing the same thing as we just did. We wanna keep it interesting, okay? All right, and then after that, our last duo, we're just gonna grapevine, boom, okay? It'll be 2 lateral taps, alternating if we're seated, and we're gonna also pair that rope pull, okay? All right, That's it. We got 3 rounds. Okay, I'm going to guide you through. Remember that warm up format, 30 seconds, 10 seconds transition. Okay. And at the top, we are starting with our wide leg lunge. Okay. So pick either the chair in front, okay, or your body weight. Okay. All right, here we go. I'm going to do seated first. Okay. Here we go. Ready and begin. All right. We've got 30 seconds here. So I'm seated. So I'm lateral tap, leg extension. Next, we have the hand curls with the palms up row. Okay. And we're going to go right into it. Okay. So in 3, 2, and 1, here we go. Okay. So palms up row. If you want to put a light pair of dumbbells in your hand. When you're seated with me, it's more of a toe tap. That's just because of the nature of being sitting down. But if you're standing, it's more that heel is coming back towards your glute. 3, 2, and 1. Good. Next, we're going to go to that squat to lateral leg raise. Okay, so you're going to go, remember, it's all one side. So you're going to squat, leg raise. You can hold onto a chair if you want. Okay, all the same side. And if you're with me seated for round 1, all same side leg press. All right. So we're getting a little more balance work with this squat to lateral leg raise. You're thinking about going through that heel as the leg comes out to the side. Think of leading with the heel, okay? And other side. All right, reset all the other side. It's okay if you might notice you have more, more balance issues on one side than the other. So, make sure you have the chair or wall handy in case you need to grab onto it. And it's okay, just, you're just making note of any imbalances you have, okay? You're not going to try to force it to do what the other side's doing or anything. You're just going to be aware, okay? Starts with understanding that, like what your body's doing first, right? Okay, now we're going to grapevine, all right? Here we go. And for the seated, we're just lateral tapping back and forth, tap, tap. And if the grapevine, if you're like, man, I'm just not getting that pattern down, just give me 2 step together, step, tap, step, okay? Just give me 2 steps each direction, okay? We're gonna go right into our rope pull next. 3, 2, and 1. All right, core engage. Remember, you're using some intensity here. You're squeezing your glutes. You're pulling your core in so that you have something strong to pull. You have that leverage here. Three, 2, and 1. Okay, we're going back to the top. So we've got that wide lateral lunge, okay? If you're seated, lateral tap to leg extension. If you're standing, I've got my toes are forward. I'm sinking onto one side, driving up through the heel. Okay, you can use the chair. I'm just not going to use the chair because I want you to be able to see. I want you to have a good visual without any obstructions. But you can hold the chair in front of you if you need a little extra support here. We're trying our best to keep the one leg straight, okay? And driving up through the other, okay? Good, time. And then we're pairing that with our hand curl and row. So we're trying to go right into it. You can add a pair of light dumbbells here or water bottles if you want, or just keep it body weight with me. Standing, I'm trying to keep that foot flexed. It's going to get us into the back of our leg a little more. 2, 1, time, okay? Squat to lateral leg raise, okay? Again, you can hold on to a chair on the side, in front, okay? Or you can do all one leg. Here we go, squat, leg raise. Squat. We have 10 more seconds on this side, and then we're just going to keep on squatting, but we're going to switch the leg raise to the other side. 3, 2, 1. Other side. Go at your pace. You can take drinks whenever you need them. Remember, we're doing seated leg press for the seated variation. 5, 2, and 1. Excellent. We're going to grapevine next, okay? Kind of shaking that all out, all right? Alternating lateral taps if you're seated. Here we go. So side, back, side, tap, side, back, side, tap. You can put some personality into your grapevine. You guys know I don't have the most rhythm. I wish I could make this look more like funky and cool, like I was dancing, but it's not as good as it gets for me. 2, and 1, rope pull, squeeze the glutes. All right, keep those glutes nice and tight if you're standing here, scooping the core. Come back to the top for one more round after this. We're going to cool down with some ankle and wrist mobility moves. And time, okay, we're going to go back to the top for one more round, guys, okay? Final round here, okay? Wide leg, lateral lunge, okay? So weights on one side, drive it up, transfer it to the other side. Okay, you can hold on. Here's my imaginary chair, okay? All right, if you need a chair, put it right in front of you and use it. And you're doing a lateral tap to leg extension if you're seated. Really trying hard to push off that foot though. 2, and 1. Okay, here we go. Ham curl and row. And time on that. Okay, final set of our squat to lateral leg raise. Okay, all on one side. All right, heels are about shoulder width apart. Slight flare out, squat, leg raise. Hold on to a chair if you need to. And remember, this is where you're doing a leg press, seated leg press if you're in your seated position. Okay. Seamless transition in 5 seconds. We're just going to squat and go to the other side. 3, 2, and 1. There we go. Good. 10 seconds rest after this, and then we're just going to finish off with our grapevine and rope pull. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, 10 seconds. Getting ready for our grapevine. And 3, 2, and 1. Or our lateral taps if you're seated. And again, if that grapevine gets confusing, you can just do this instead, step, step. Okay. Anytime we do lateral exercises, that's going to help with our, keeping our knee in good shape. Okay, so this helps with knee health here by keeping our glute medius strong. 2 and 1. Rope pull, core engaged, tuck. All right, think about that if you're standing, that isometric squeeze on your glutes, right? I'm in this pelvic tuck and I'm squeezing my glutes so that I can do this extra hard, right? Because that helps me do this better, right? But you're also working the glutes by keeping that muscle just engaged the whole time. And time, okay. All right, guys, nice job. We're gonna do a cool down now. So throughout our workout, we focus on shoulder and hip mobility. And our cool down, as we're catching our breath, we're gonna start with wrist mobility, and then we'll hit some ankle mobility before we hit the bigger ones, okay? So let's just go ahead and roll our wrists here. And now reverse. Good, and then we can take one palm, okay? And I'm just pulling back. You should feel a stretch through the front of your forearm here, okay? Same thing other side. Just till you feel a gentle pull in the front of that forearm. Good, and then we can just kind of, wiggle the fingers out here, okay? All right, let's go into, before we get to the ankles, let's just go ahead and get our neck and trap here, okay? Always concerned about like our posture muscles and everything through here. Always want to try to keep these nice and attended to through our stretching and our chin tucks and whatnot, okay? That really has a lot of benefit with consistency. Good. Let's go ahead and take our palms. We'll put them on the small of our back, like trying to make our elbows come towards one another so you feel this stretch through the front of your chest. Your head can go wherever, if you want it up here, if you want it straight forward, if you want it down. Do what feels comfortable for your neck, because the idea is we're stretching right through here, and you potentially will feel it in your forearms as well, okay? We're often tight and closed in often here, right? From a rounded posture, so good. All right, and then let's do a lateral bend, okay? Reaching up and over. If you want, you can intensify it by holding onto that wrist and giving a gentle pull, feeling it come down the whole side body. Same thing other side. Good, and then let's sit it down for a figure 4, okay? Getting our glutes and our hips here. And we flex this foot that's bent. I'm lifting up and then just gently hinging over. It's not a huge range of motion until you should start to feel this area in the side glute and hip stretching. This is a wonderful stretch. Some of you may be advanced enough that you just want to lay on the floor and do it from lying down on your back and hold on to the leg from, the thigh on the opposite leg. But this is a great variation right here. I love this variation, okay? All right, so before we get to the other side, let's just go ahead and we can hold our leg a little bit here. We're gonna flex and point that ankle, working on this ankle mobility here, okay? And then circle each direction, about 5 each direction. Good, and then we're gonna do the other side. So figure 4, and you can see why they call it, your legs make the shape of a 4, Flexed foot, this flexed foot on this leg here helps protect the knee joint, okay? Lifting up, gently hinging forward until you feel that stretch through the side of your glute here. Good. Then we'll come out of that one. Let's flex and point. And now about 5 circles each direction. And the last thing we're going to finish off with here is a forward fold on the back of our chair, because this really encompasses like we get our shoulders, we get our lower back, we get our hamstrings and glutes. Okay, so we're just going to forward fold here. I'm trying to make like a 90-degree bend through the hips here, right? You can either stay completely still here and make this a static stretch where you're not moving at all. You're just stretching at your own comfort level. Or if you want to gently sway your hips from one side to the other and feel either side of your sacrum stretch out a little more, you can try that. Good. Feel this through my lats, my hips, the back of my legs, my shoulders. This is a great full body stretch here. For the posterior, for the back side of our body at least. And when you're ready, just gently walk it up. Okay, we're gonna take a nice big inhale up. Palms together, exhale, hands to heart. One more time. All right, guys, and that's a wrap. Hope you enjoyed today's class. Great. I'm glad to see that. And yeah, that new 30 seconds, 10 seconds was a new little format just to try to keep it interesting.